Next, we're going to move on to talk about advert targeting. Now, if you could only watch one subject in the whole of this training, targeting should be it, because how well you target your advert at the right audience can really make or break your campaign. Advert targeting is a skill in itself, and it's one of the reasons that consultants charge a small fortune to do targeting on their customers' behalf. Good advert targeting starts by asking yourself these 3 questions. Question number 1, what is your business niche? Number 2, who is your customer? And number 3, how does your customer behave online? If you can answer these 3 questions confidently, then you've achieved step 1 in creating an ad campaign that's really going to perform well. So let's have a look at these 3 questions in a bit more detail. We'll tackle the first one first. What is your niche? There were over 3 billion users online last year, which is amazing, really. So if you really want to sell a product or service, you've really got to have a clear understanding of what niche you are aiming for, because if you don't and you're trying to target your advertising at those 3 billion users, well, you don't need to tell me what will happen. I mean, you'll fail. The more targeted you are, the more effective your advertising is going to be. Even if you want to target a fairly broad market segment for your business, I would still strongly recommend focusing on a narrow niche for your advertising. It's that important. Here's some examples. So on the left, we've got very targeted niches. So activity gifts for men who love extreme sports, as opposed to just gifts for men, which is just too broad. Personal styling services for overseas weddings, as opposed to just weddings. Earn a living copywriting for small businesses, rather than make money online. Or low maintenance diet to help new mums lose belly fat, as opposed to just dieting. The next question I want you to ask yourself is this: who is your customer? It becomes a lot easier to understand the importance of having a niche once you start to figure out who your customer is. If you've got a clear understanding of them, then you can target your advertising at only those people that are going to fit your profile. And that saves you wasting a lot of money on advertising to people who will just never want your service. Facebook's advertising platform allows you to target advertising at a very particular market segment. So the more you understand about the profile of your customer, the better your advert's going to perform. So give yourself a task of creating a profile of your ideal customer and writing down everything you know about them. And although this might sound obvious, I really want you to actually spend several hours doing this and get as detailed as possible about that person. Use these characteristics as starting points when you begin to create targeting for your ad campaign on Facebook. So here's some prompts for you. What are their key demographics? Think about age, gender, education, their job, where they live, their income level. What are their big hopes and dreams in life? You want to try and understand what's important to your customer, as this is going to give you a clue as to what interests you should target your campaign at, which we'll talk through in a later video. What or who do they aspire to? And then this is really about getting to understand your customer on a much deeper level. And the more time you spend thinking about this, the easier it's going to be to accurately target your ad campaign. What keeps them awake at night? What are their biggest fears? This sort of question is great for targeting, and it's also really useful when it comes to writing headlines, because you can theme your headline around addressing that big fear of your customer. And finally, what influences their decisions in life? Think about this in terms of friends, money, media. So finally, once you've figured out who your customer is, you want to have a look at how your customer behaves when they're online. And this will give you a clue as to their whereabouts on Facebook and where you're most likely to find them. And remember, the easier it is to find your ideal customer, the cheaper your overall advertising costs are going to be. So once you understand a bit about the personality and the profile of your customer, then it becomes much easier to figure out how they behave. And once you know how they behave, you can really start to research potential ways to target your ad campaign. We'll cover this more thoroughly in the next lesson, but for now, here's some prompts to get you started. What brands do they follow? What media do they read? And For this, don't just consider the big national media outlets. Think about smaller sites and blogs that they might be interested in. What celebrities do they like? Remember that it doesn't have to just be the type of celebrity that you see on the red carpet. It can also be internet celebrities, such as, those with a big YouTube following, or gurus and experts within a certain industry. What are their favourite websites? Well, this doesn't have to be related to your business. It can just be a website that your target customer often spends their free time on. When you've asked yourself these questions, you should be able to start putting together a list of interests for your target customer. And keep hold of this, because this is going to be really important for the next lesson we're about to cover.